Carolina Reaper.
That's all very. Hey guys, Larry here. So we packed our bags and we spent 3 days in Hobart. So if you're planning or thinking about visiting, here's our 3-day itinerary. So Hobart is located in Tasmania. It's a blend of heritage, laid-back lifestyle, and it's definitely a food and wine haven. It is a small city, but there's a lot of activities to do and a lot of sights to see. So for our first morning, this is definitely a must-do in Hobart. And if you don't already know, the Salamanca Markets is one of the largest outdoor markets in Australia. There are more than 300 vendors selling everything from handcraft woodwork, jewelry, ceramics, glassware, and fresh fruit and vegetables. So I'm a big coffee fan, and one of the things I do on each trip is research the best specialty coffee shops. So nearby is Parklane Espresso in Salamanca Place. So it's a little coffee shop. It was super busy being a weekend, but it was good to get a tasty coffee to start off the morning. So it was a beautiful sunny day, and you get to walk between the old sandstone buildings and big autumn trees while browsing through all the market stalls. A popular dish in Tas are their scallop pies. I've never heard this before, but the most recommended place is the Smith specialty pies. We were excited to try one, however, when we arrived, they were completely sold out, which is a shame. If you're after one, make sure to get in early. However, we did try some amazing wood fire pizzas by Flamecake.
For our breakfast, we got the margarine wood fire pizzas. Okay, these are really good. Give this a try. Delicious. So deep.
And I'm glad we did, because we actually came back for seconds, and it's one I would recommend. So if you're a fan of gin, you're in for a treat. So there were so many gin distilleries that were giving out free samples, and it felt like I had at least 10 shots that morning. It's a great way to taste all the types of gin in the area, and also it's a good way to upsell.
Bill and Carolina Reaper.
That's that.
Carolina Reaper.
Yeah. And then you
Well, yeah.
breathe in
Yeah.
and out, and
You can feel that.
feel the chili.
Jeez, should have had that. It was good though. Warm me up for the morning. Yeah.
As the markets were nearby the pier, we walked around and explored the Constitution Dock. You may have heard of this place. It's where the annual Sydney to Hobart yacht race is held. So it's an awesome vibe here. You'll find fishing boats, yachts, an awesome drawbridge, and you also have the mountains in the background for scenery. In this area, there are different eateries, restaurants, and you also can find some fish and chips, which is a perfect location for it. We went for gelato, we sat back, and we enjoyed the scenery. As well, we walked around the city. It's always best to take your time and explore. We're heading to Mount Wellington. That's over there. It's about a 30-minute drive, and we're there for sunset. You get to overlook the Hobart region, Bruny Island, and also the southwest wilderness. Depending on the time of year, it does get super cold and windy, so make sure to bring a spare jacket and make sure you wear warm clothes.
So hot up here. Lucky we got our jackets.
Here's the spots where you can take photos. So there's a wooden path to the viewpoints and an observation shelter where you can stay warm in. So while you're looking forward at the city, when you turn left, there are beautiful rolling mountains, and behind us was the sun just starting to set for golden hour.
So the sun's going down right behind us. So every time it's sunset, you always will go about 10 minutes and go across the side.
Because you get this amazing glow and you get this beautiful radiant, and that's what you come for sunsets. And I personally call this the afterglow. And for the sunset, it was well worth it. Then out of nowhere, we see this light just rising. And honestly, the video doesn't show how big the actual full moon was, but it was huge and it literally lit up the whole place. Then we got another perspective of Hobart with the city all lit up in flashing lights. It was a pleasant ride up, and it does get narrow, so make sure to be safe when driving up. When it's the winter months, the roads do close because of the extreme weather and also snow, so make sure to watch the weather forecast before you head up. Only 20 seats, this neighbourhood restaurant is tucked away in the back streets of Hobart. Templo creates seasonal and locally sourced produce and minimal intervention wines. So we did their 6-course degustations, with our top picks being their gnocco fritto, their roasted carrots with cashews, and the scarpinoc pasta. Scarpino. Like that word. So I wasn't too keen on the King Dory, but everything else was super tasty and they had a great selection of wines as well. So it's laid back, the service was great, and it had good atmosphere as well. So if you do want to get a seat, make sure to book in early as they do get booked out. As it was a weekend, we thought we'd go out for a couple of drinks and we stumbled upon a popular spot, the Hanging Garden. So it's like a huge open warehouse, laneway type establishment. Obviously they had hanging plants, various food outlets. So it's a really cool space. It's one to check out for a couple of drinks at night and also in the Arvo. Tasmania is known for their beautiful wines, so we had to make it a priority to visit some of the wineries and taste some delicious wines. It's a tough job, someone has to do it. But before we got on our wine adventure, I really want to check out the cafe scene. And we visited a popular spot, Room for a Pony. So I had the potato rosti, the poached eggs, roasted pumpkin, burnt butter hollandaise. This dish has made it to the top 3 best cafe dishes. So honestly, who doesn't love rosti, pumpkin and hollandaise? So good. We also had the silken tofu, which was okay, coffee and a turmeric latte. They have a great outdoor area in front. It's where most people want to be on a sunny day. They also have heaps of room at the back as well. Only a 20-minute drive from the center of Hobart is Frogmore Winery. With its rustic charm and rolling hills, it's easy to see why this winery is so popular. We did a wine tasting, which was $5 per person, or free when you purchase a bottle of wine. So we went for 5 of each wine, so 5 red and 5 white. It's always good to try everything else.
That's it. With a style. Yeah.
Notes of berries and
Overall, lovely wines, but the standout was the Chardonnay, and we did buy a bottle of that. Of course, being a winery, we had to go outside and take some photos with the grapevines while looking out to the mountains in the back. A couple of helicopters flew in and out. It's a great option if you want to experience the area from above. They do have a restaurant, but we didn't dine this time. The restaurant is highly rated and the food on the Instagram looks amazing.
Alright, so we're back on the road and now we're heading to our second winery, Poley Wines.
You get that French chateau type of vibe with the beautiful facades, sandstone bricks, and growing vines on the side of the building. You also get the rustic feeling when you enter through the outdoor seating area and also the cellar door. So it's a casual setting and they're serving up wood-fired pizzas. So you order your wine, your pizza, so you can take a seat and you eat and you enjoy the view. We also did the wine tasting, make sure to book in, and it was also $5 per head or free when you purchase a bottle of wine.
After fermentation is finished, leave the wine on the lees for 4 months. So that's just giving it a little bit of extra friction.
So as I said, the bottom just drops. Not that much sweetness, easy to drink.
So our favorite was Chardonnay. Again, for some reason the Chardonnays were amazing. We are Pinot drinkers, but for some reason the Pinots weren't as good. But the Chardonnays, so it's a really cool place to visit with the interiors, and it's awesome to take some photos at too. Make sure to put this one on your list. So next up, we wanted to taste some Tassie cheese, so we did a pit stop at the Wicked Cheese Company. So it looks like they've won a lot of awards from the showcase on the ceilings. They also have on display different types of aged cheeses and also condiments that you can also purchase. So we bought a cheese board for 1 to share, and honestly, it was enough.
Blue cheese, we got brie, pepperberry, and goats.
So overall, the cheeses were nice. Nothing spectacular in my opinion. But they were nice. I highly recommend heading out to different wineries when you do visit Hobart. If you don't have a car, there are many wine tours that can escort you around, so you can drink as much as you want and you can travel with ease. If you have been to wineries around Hobart, let us know your favorites in the comments below. To top off a day of eating and drinking, we had dinner at Insitiu Polaire. They have luxe interior of marble, light leather, and it's very minimalistic. We had the 7-course degustation. I also had the Pinot red wine flight from the winery as well. And the food highlights were the handmade pasta with smoked ricotta and truffle, bomba caviar with creme fraiche, and Australia filled duck with elderberry pontac. Our food experience was a little bit underwhelming. It was the most expensive meal from the whole trip, and it felt that we didn't get much out of it. We also had the heirloom tomatoes with the sorbet. I didn't really like it. Some people do, some people don't. For me, it was okay. Service was prompt and attentive, and they had a serious selection of cocktails. However, I know people that have had a great experience and loved all the food and went a second time, but you know, each to their own. So for accommodation, we stayed at the Clydesdale Manor at Sandy Bay. So during our trip, it was peak season. And when I say peak, I mean it was peak season. Everything was booked out. So lucky us, we got one of the last rooms and we thought we would try something different than a hotel as it's heritage details and it's super charming. They do have parking on site and it was one of the prerequisites that we needed. Hobart, Tasmania have a fantastic selections of Airbnbs, so make sure to do your research and book in early. On the last day we went to Manor, the Museum of Old and New Art. Honestly, it's one of the most epic museums I've been to. It's a very eccentric type of museum and you get this feeling with the branding tone of voice. As an overall, you see a collection of ancient, modern and contemporary art. As well, very cool installations where they incorporate sound and sight. We also went into 2 installations that I'll put up on screen here. So I don't want to ruin it for you, but there was a lot of flashing lights incorporated. Very cool and different, I would have to say. They have multiple restaurants, bars, and its own winery on site, Marilla Wineries. I made a more in-depth video on our trip to Manor, so if you want to watch it, click the link below in the description box after this video. So for our last dinner in Hobart, we enjoyed some modern Southeast Asian at Dana Restaurant. Honestly, we had a feast. We had oysters, braised beef cheek, pork belly, salads, breads, and desserts. They had a great selection of wines and also cocktails. Cocktails were great too. So it's a more casual vibe, the food was delicious, and it's one of our favorite restaurants on our trip. We really enjoyed our time in Hobart and there are so many other hidden gems that you can explore, and it's a perfect location to be based if you want to explore Tasmania. You could hire a car like we did, or you can join a tour company that will take you around Tas. So there are popular spots as Wineglass Bay, Bays of Fire, Cradle Mountain, and Port Arthur for those who love a bit of history. Make sure to watch our other videos from our Tasmania series, and if you have been to Hobart and you know some hidden gems or some tips and tricks, let us know in the comments below. If you can do us a favor, hit that like button because it really helps the channel grow, and I will see you guys in the next one. See you.